following is Flying Casual, the RSPN podcast live show every Monday night. Join us on Patreon for early access, exclusive show prizes, and more. Now, here are the guys.
I want to know your thoughts on, before we wrap up, the thoughts on Ben Solo, on the death of Ben Solo. Andrew, I'll start with you, because I know you have no soul and you wanted him to die from the very start. Do you think we will find out if there is Force Ghost Ben Solo, or if he's, as Aaron Quinton likes to say, in the world between worlds or something like that, in a upcoming novel or comic book?
I think Force Ghost Ben Solo is, that sounds like a musical term. It's like, okay, now we've reached the fifth bar, so somebody give me a Force Ghost Ben Solo. Thank you. I think that's a given. It's only a matter of time before we get that in a book or a comic, or maybe even like Galaxy's Edge. Maybe they make like a hologram Force Ghost of him. They just record Adam Driver saying some stuff, and he appears and he talks to you. Maybe he yells at you like in Marriage Story, and he's like, "I hope you die," and then we're like, "Whoa," and he's like, "Oh, just kidding. Buy something from the gift shop, kids." I'd like to believe that they're not done with him, and the Force Ghost. Like, if you're gonna create Force Ghosts, take advantage of it. So he's around. He's coming. Don't you worry. He's coming.
Heidi?
Well, I don't know if you know, I think Adam Driver is hosting Saturday Night Live next weekend. So.
Ooh.
Yes, he is. So.
Yeah, I mean, he can do anything in a comic book or a cartoon or whatever. I was just thinking maybe what I would like to have seen is like when she sees when Rey sees Luke and Leia out in the desert, maybe like this blue hand could have been on her shoulder.
Oh. Wow.
But again, I'm not writing the script. But.
I like that idea. But I mean, that would actually be like the connective tissue within where we left off and where it's going forward right there. I mean, yeah, SNL's coming up with him soon, so there's always the possibility of Force Ghost Matt, the radar technician, coming into the SNL script somewhere.
You know what would be a great skit? Sorry to cut you off, Rob.
No.
Like, imagine like they do a skit that's like set between 8 and 9, where it's Matt the radar technician hanging out with like Ray and Finn and Poe, and none of them recognize him. You look awfully familiar. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just here to fix your radar.
Oh, that would be great. That'd be so cool.
He entered her body when he died. Now they're
Dyad. Yeah.
Dyad. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think there's got to be something in there. I mean, Pablo and the story crew don't leave things open-ended like that. I see them using Force Ghost Ben Solo in some other form and some other point. Maybe you wait till Adam Driver gets older and you use them in the episode 10, episode 11, whatever they want to do going forward with that. I mean, there's also the possibility, like Andrew said, I mean, Marriage Story, that entire scene where he's singing in the restaurant. I mean, you really could. You got to utilize. I think about Adam Driver in the scene in Lincoln when he's sending the message over the it's like, just make him a Force Ghost. Make him send messages to the Union as a Force Ghost.
And it's funny because the song he sings is called "Being Alive."
So there you go.
I will say this: if they bring him back as a Force Ghost in a comic or a book, to me that's a cheap move.
Yeah.
Do you guys understand why he's not there at the end of the movie?
Because Leia's gone.
But Leia's there.
Oh, why he's not there on Tatooine?
Yeah.
I didn't give him much thought, but I like what Heidi's saying, where he's like a part of Rey.
That seems to be a common thread. Yeah. It makes sense, but it doesn't make enough sense to be satisfying. Do you know what I mean? Like, I find a lot of people are unsatisfied with him. He disappears, and then what? And there's no hint that. I mean, to me, there's a little bit of a hint that he's in Rey, but there's no real hint that he's in Rey. He's not there with Leia or Luke. Like, wouldn't it have been nice if Leia was next to her son? Like, wouldn't that have been like the ultimate? Like, because for me, I think what happens with Leia and Ben, and how Ben saves Rey and then passes away. I think that whole sequence is great, but wouldn't have it just been that extra step, the extra mile, if he was beside his mother at the end? Because the whole trilogy, she just wants her son to come home and be with her, and they had this moment to do that. And I mean, you know, I've heard a lot of theories, and I have my own thoughts, but I just don't understand why, of all things, not to put in this movie, that's the one that. And they never even like designed a Force ghost Ben.
Right.
I mean, I don't know anything official, but I sort of have this theory that he actually died when he fell down the cavern, and he was actually a Force ghost when he crawled out.
Oh, well, I haven't heard that. So why don't you keep talking, and I'll pretend this is my theory. Go.
No, I'm saying, I mean, you know, how do you survive a fall like that? And maybe he didn't know he was dead, and he crawled out, and then he just totally gave her his life force, and then they made out, and that was it.
Huh.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you're going that theory, that's why, like, the theory that he got absorbed to her the way Palpatine tried.
That's interesting.
And they were one. They are connected. They are a dyad in the Force. They are together. I think J.J. Abrams said the relationship was beyond Reylo. It was more than just people. It was also almost a brother-sister bond. Which my first reaction was ew, but then I remembered Leia and Luke making out. So I'm like, well, that's Star Wars.
Star Wars did it before it was cool. Mm-hmm. They were like ahead of the time before Game of Thrones came around.
Wait, it was cool? Wait.
In Game of Thrones land. I'm just reading the chat right now. Everybody says that whatever Andrew says is wrong.
I have no money.
I like I said, I like the ending. I'm not gonna argue anything. If you didn't like it, that's also fine. I just think if they're because JJ was like, oh, I think, you know, I'm hoping you find it satisfying. Well, wouldn't just the one moment of Leia with her son be satisfying?
You know, that's the one thing also, James, and everybody here, that I think, and it's very important actually to think about this too, is that what is the one thing that Disney is very good at? They're very good at strategic placement,
yes,
and holding off on things to make sure that they have a product later on to work with. And I feel like JJ, I'm going to be honest, I feel like JJ wanted Ben Solo to be in there. But somebody deep down in Disney at Lucasfilm in the inner depths said, hold on a second. How can we, sorry to say it, how can we make money? How can we build this brand even more? How can we do this going forward? Because Ben Solo and Adam Driver is an appealing brand look and an appealing actor and everything else. I feel like that there was probably we always hear about creative conflicts happening when it comes to the development of these films. The difference between Trevorrow and Abrams, I feel like there was probably something within there. Because that when the fans notice something like that, I feel like there's always that exterior plan that came into effect.
Well, then is then the fault on calling this the end of the Skywalker saga?
I never liked it that they marketed it that.
I agree with you, but they did.
And they did. And I think, again, that as much, and I'll say this, the sequel trilogy itself has been nothing but, I feel like, one of the best things to happen here. But I feel like in terms of where the interests are from a corporate standpoint and from where we are moving forward with this brand and the company and the story itself, I think they jumped the gun a little bit on it, to be honest with you, now that I look back at it. I really do.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.